welcome to Garage Therapy Insights Live with me, Maz, and Roger.
Yep. Hi. Good evening,
Hello,
Eagle.
good evening, everyone. Can you hear us loud and clear? Let us know in the chat whether you can hear us or not, but hopefully you can. I can
Yep.
see some people waiting already in the chat, which is good, and some familiar faces as well, which is even better. So hello to Nick, hello to Graham, Burley 337. Um, Gary, welcome, welcome, welcome. We never. We were just saying in the back end, we didn't actually think that this was actually going to happen tonight. One, because of the technicalities of going live,
Yep.
which is always fun to
Yeah.
to get working for the first time. I think last time, old Johnny got it working for us, right, using his
He's
software.
Riverside. Yeah.
And now we've signed up to do it on our end, so it's all down to us now to make it happen. Um, but Roger, what a week we've
Yep.
had.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
It's been different and busy, I think is the word.
have you ever known a week like this in the last 6 years of us
No. No.
doing
No.
this?
No. I don't think so. It's
Yeah,
it's been a big build up. A lot of things have kind of aligned, and a lot of things have come in, and a lot of plans that we've been putting together for the last year, I think, are coming to fruition. And unfortunately, that means that we have to parkour ourselves across the unit now
yeah,
because there's no space.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Literally. I mean, like sending like parkour
Memes across to each other.
memes
Because,
across, yeah,
yeah,
and taking about a couple of minutes to go right down the other end of the unit just to come back up to get on the other side.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that's a
yeah. It's a
yeah,
different way of working at the moment. But it's all for a good cause.
for sure.
It's all worthwhile for what we're doing.
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. I remember right when it was obviously on Monday and the big HUV turns up, and I was expecting at the time, because we're quite packed in, obviously.
Yeah,
The guys don't know that in the chat, but we're quite packed in the unit currently, and I was expecting like about 3-4 pallets to turn up, and all of a sudden the guy's like, no, it's not 3 or 4, I've got 9. I'm thinking 9 pallets of what? And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh my god,
everything.
everything's come at the same time. They didn't stagger it like we booked in with them. Everything's
No.
come at the same time. So yeah, it was quite a mission for us to get it in to the unit and squeeze it all in, and that's why that's why we had to yeah, do some gymnastics, I guess. Yeah, Dan came in,
Yeah,
and Dan came into the unit, right? So he comes in. I've normally got my headphones in, right? So the chime goes off on the door that someone's entered the building. Dan comes in, and all he can see is the pallets. He goes, "Oh, you got a lot of product there," and he's like snooping around, trying,
sniffing around, yeah, trying to see
sniffing
if he can
around,
find
trying to get
something.
something new to to see if he can relay some back to the GT Pro network. It's funny that Dan comes into the unit, right, and we're
Yep.
there, and he's sniffing around. Then he'll see something, and then all of a sudden, I'm getting text messages from other people saying, "Oh, have you heard about our new spray and rinse?"
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, Dan, how did they know already?
He's like a
And he's
some
like,
sort of
I
Korean
haven't told
spy.
them.
He's like a Korean spy for him. He comes in and
Yeah,
just takes pictures.
I haven't told them. Sure, Dan. Sure, you haven't told them. So for those of for those who don't know, Dan Fowler, Reflect Automotive Detailing, is actually, luckily or unluckily for us maybe,
Hmm.
located a mile down the road from us. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
being a
he's
GT Pro, he ends up getting himself into closed door aspects of the unit.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Right, so we named this show, or I named it. Sorry, Roger, executive
That's right.
decision
The,
there.
the second.
I named it Balance and Power because we're not going to show you just one product. We are going to show you two products today. We're not actually going to show you video of it because we haven't got any video on it.
Yep.
But what I can do is show you the bottles. So hold your breath, everyone. Right, you ready for the first one? Right, that's it. Can't read it anymore.
Can't see any more than that. Some of them are freeze framing it now.
So it's obviously back to front on the video, but that says to Zeta. And I put up a little story on the
Instagram reel.
Yeah, and I had people messaging me saying, "What's Zeta? I haven't got that one. I can't
No
find
one
it on the website." Yeah, no one has at the moment, apart from the lucky people that have done some testing for us when it went into the final stages of testing. And the second product, can anyone guess what the second product is in the chat? We won't tell them just for now. We'll leave them waiting.
We'll go over Zeta, and then let's see what they come up with in the chat, and see if they come up with some good guesses.
Right. So, what is Zeta? What is Zeta? What is Zeta? That's a good question. It's a product that we never said we'd make. Right.
Yeah, we did. So multiple times. But we also gave the reasons why we wouldn't make one. And what those reasons were, and highlighted why they would have to be changed. And
why wouldn't we make one, Roger? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it was one, we didn't believe it was a good enough product that you could make at the current time with the technology that was available, to be of the level and standard that we expect the rest of our products to come up with, and we just kept it on the back shelf. And then we were lucky enough to find that the chemists came forward and said, there's some new tech, there's some new stuff that we can use. And so we started testing stuff and see what we could get out of it. And then that's what changed the aspect and the reason why we've now created it.
Yep. Very good answer. Full marks.
Full marks, thank you.
It was actually, as well, I'm shuffling around here, sorry everyone. We actually were on the stream, weren't we? Actually, when we actually said we're never going to make one because we just don't believe in it. And I think it was Specky and Paul's podcast when they started it all those years ago. And it's funny, I was listening to them in the car this morning on the way to work, and they were saying they've been podcasting for 5 years. And I'm thinking, wow, did we do that 5 years ago? Has it really been that long? 5 years?
Mm-hmm. But then that shows you how long we've been fiddling with it and seeing if it was even, worth our while. Why was it? Would it be worth making a difference to have a different IP and nothing happened for 5 years? So that shows you the length we've gone to.
Yeah, but all things change. Everything changes. You get different perspectives and stuff like that. But before I get into it, actually, I did actually speak to Specky Craig on the way back today. It's funny, I was listening to them on the way in the car and ringing him on the way back. And I've said to we'll get Paul and Specky on to our live show to have some fun, talk about some detailing and see what those guys have been getting up to.
Well, they've got a lot of experience with our products as well, so it's great to hear back from them, from the version 1s to all the way to the next versions we got.
We could title the show like 6 years later. What do you still think about us? then we could be here to be abused, whether they like it or not.
That would definitely be with Paul for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Well, the good thing is about talking to Paul actually is he's been on a bit of a journey this year and a little bit of last year where he's been detailing on the road and helping out his a couple of local detailers who do some mobile valeting and stuff, and it'll be good to get his actual perspective on what he's learned, because he talks about it a little bit on his own podcast, but I don't think he's not, obviously, with respect to Specky, he's not talking from, let's say, company / detailers to him to like probe into what he's like really thinks about detailing or valeting, and how hard it is on the road. Speaking to people like Dan and you're speaking to Craig and Dave. These are the guys in our pro network and stuff. It's hard work detailing on the road, and it's Peter as well. It's not easy getting out there when it's like
to
freezing bloody
to do
cold
it
and raining
and to do it properly,
and to do
for
it
sure.
properly. Exactly. So Zeta, what is Zeta? What is Zeta? That is what's on everyone's mind. So here it is, Zeta. What is it? This is a spray and rinse product. We have created one. It's taken a long time, as Roger said. It's not replacing 3CS at all.
No,
Um, why have we created it? Well, there's the technology's there now, or the chemistry is there. We found an additive that we really, really like the performance of it. It's a necessary product. So, one thing that Roger and I do when we're either training detailers or having a get together, and we actually got our next, we're calling it the GT Framework Summit on the 10th of January, where our detailers from around the UK are going to come
gather.
to gather, and we're going to show them all the new stuff that we've been working on, and these two products will be part of that, so they can get some exclusive hands-on experience with the new stuff, and maybe even walk away with a bottle if we're feeling generous, eh? Maybe even walk away with a bottle. Who knows? But we take their feedback really seriously, and we've always, Roger. I know you personally. You've never liked the performance of them.
No, I always find that they fall off too far too quickly for my liking, and considering the other products that we have that you can quickly apply, it really needs to be something different and special and effective for me to be pushed in the direction where I'd use it.
Yeah, yeah, and we've seen, haven't we, through our testing that there's claims, isn't there? And
Yeah,
and it's hard for any brand or manufacturer to get the right claim or marketing spiel correct, where you're managing your customers' expectations, you're managing, for us importantly, the detailer's expectations, whether you're at home detailing your own car or you're a professional, and
yeah,
anywhere in between. When you say a product will last up to 3 months, are they going to to last that period of time? And the way that we test our products, whether it's in the laboratory or out in the field, whether Roger's testing it from his side of things and he's reporting back, whether I'm doing the same thing, to amalgamate all that information and say, right, this product will do X, Y, and Z. It takes a very, very long time, and this has been a long time in the making. So Pete in the chat saying, what product we're talking about? We're talking about
Zeta.
Zeta, which is something that Pete has actually tested for us, and Pete was also quite against this type of product. So Pete done an interview with Johnny, and he says, oh, it's a product he's not interested in. So and Peter tests it and he goes, oh, when are you releasing that product? So we've obviously done something right. um, but back to it's a product that when it came together and we used it, we knew, okay, we're getting somewhere here. We're
Yeah,
progressing. What I guess a lot of the guys in the chat probably don't see is all the failures leading up to it. So Dan, who pops in regularly, is a prime example. He'll come in and he'll see me bottling, and I'll be talking to him about a product that we've been working on, but he won't see me show it to him for quite a while,
mm.
right? And then I'll be talking about it, and I can see it in his face. He's waiting for me to show him the product and test it for me. But I don't give him the early test products because it would just lead to disappointment. Also, as well, is detailers, they're a law unto themselves. Like you give them a product to test, and Pete's the worst for this, by the way. And you're like, Pete, have you tested that product? Oh yeah. Okay, Pete, but I gave you that like 4 months ago. Yeah, but I know Pete is probably going to be chuckling to himself, saying,
Yeah, no,
"That's
he
what
probably
busy
is.
detailers are like, though, right?"
Yeah, exactly. And plus, we really had to look at it when we give it different versions to different detailers as well. So they don't always get the same version of the same product. They'll get different versions, different iterations, just to kind of make sure that we get the feedback as honest as they can. Because if you just give them all the same and they all come back with a very similar, you just go, oh, it's all okay. But if they all come back with the same and they've all got different versions, then you know something's amiss. So that's how we've done the testing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So we have the final product now, and as Andrew in the comments has said, spray and rinse products in colder climates really are one of the go-tos, right? Since they were introduced, you see a lot of detailers and a lot of consumers. It's not just detailers; it's everyone. As soon as the weather starts hitting that sub 6, 7, 5 degrees,
Less than
at
10 degrees, yeah.
wiping any product into the surface when the panel temperatures are freezing cold is one, that's not fun, but you get, that they don't flash off properly. You get moisture, and sometimes it can be a pain in the backside to get it right. So a lot of detailers, when they've got their maintenance clients, right, and this is effectively the use case of the product, is they want to go to a client, they want to do their deep clean, their decon wash, their, when I say decon wash, I mean, they're trying to get all of that salt, that road film off their customers' cars. And they want to be able to, once they've done that deep clean, they want to be able to apply a product quickly, dry the car, and be on their way to the next client, because during the winter months they don't want to be hanging around, right? It's going to
Yeah.
be raining, it's going to be super cold. They want to do the cars, get on with it, go home, have a cup of tea, get warm.
And consumers have the same story where they want to get in as quick as possible so they're not frozen solid sitting outside trying to clean a car. So it's the same idea.
You got Peter's liking your Christmas tree, Rog.
Oh, thank you.
Did you do it yourself? Or?
No, of course not. Of course not. You know what it would look like if it was me? It would not be that.
You would have like little Batman like
Yes,
toys
that probably
and
would.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It literally would be only Marvels and Avengers on there. That's what it would be.
Yes, it would be. Yeah, yeah. I'm in my loft, by the way. I've just got like piles of presents behind me where my wife hides them. Yeah. Where my wife hasn't got the concept that you're meant to wrap the presents and put them under the tree so the kids know what they've got to look forward to come Christmas Day. She does this weird backward thing where she hides it until the very last day and then she shows them it.
That's
I guess
because
she
probably
likes
your kids
the
are going to rip them
surprise.
off,
Yeah.
rip the presents open before
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
What I don't like about it though is I don't like waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning when the
And
kids
opening presents, yeah.
want to open their presents. I'm more like, we have a set time, and that set time is when I wake up. So it can vary, like certainly on the Christmas day, from anywhere from about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. But yeah, can't keep it away. But anyway, we digress back to what everyone wants to talk about, right? Zeta. I can't really put it like
You put too
I
close to
need
the
like a
screen.
stand, don't I, just to
Yeah.
like place it, like so everyone sees it
It's
and
not,
it twirls
it's not,
around. You're the engineer, Roger. Can you make that happen, please?
Okay, I'll get it down. I'll get it done.
But the use case is, isn't it, is that the detailers need to apply something on, get the car protected, and
Yep.
move on. Now, this is where our concerns come in with these types of products. Is one of the things that we always talk about is what is protection. Like making something bead isn't a protection. What is it actually protecting against? We we have UV, we have chemicals, we have salt. You know, we have you're protecting the car from the end user as well.
Hmm.
You know, us. You know, when we wash our cars, you're adding protection onto the car to protect it from yourself, because we, all of us, have this bad habit of touching our vehicle all the time, and it's very difficult not to touch it, especially when you've got really silky smooth paint.
Hmm.
So our focus was, well, what was our main focus, Roger, on this product?
Well, uh, from my end of the spectrum, it was the main concern was always the concern for me is when you lay down a spray and rinse, it's one it's the ability to cover everything that it needs to cover and not create, spots and places where it misses or doesn't catch or doesn't connect, but also that it doesn't ruin any finishes that you may have that are not paint, your plastics, your rubbers, your trims, your glass. You don't want any of that to end up with any sort of kind of, protection build up anywhere.
Yeah,
So we had to create that something that didn't do that, but then
yeah,
also gave a durability that was worthwhile the whole process.
yeah, yeah, precisely, right. And we also want to give, the end user the same characteristics, right, as Sigma or our QD or our CS or our coatings, right? And what are those characteristics? Well, hopefully everyone who's in the chat has bought our products before and loves them and cherishes them and buys more. Please buy more. But the main things is, right, is slickness. Um, for me, it's slickness, and you want that good hydrophobicity to accompany the slickness, but not just speeding. You want good sheeting. You want to promote that self-cleaning ability, and you don't want it to just wash off after, like, or disappear after 2-3 weeks. So, Gilly. So, right, one of one of my,
He's saying straight away because I was
yeah,
going to say, well, let's play the devil's advocate. Let's
yeah,
start
Gilly is
asking you
one of my
questions.
favorite people on on Instagram, right? If you don't follow Gilly Wash, you should, because he makes brilliant reels, really funny reels. But he's been using our products and helping us out with various products for years now. And he's asked, what is the durability? So we state that you will get up to 3 months. Now, why haven't we said you can get 6 months? Why haven't we said you can get 12 months? Why haven't we said you can get, whatever, really high durability claims? Because the reality is that there's so many different variables on a vehicle. Has your car been properly decontaminated chemically and mechanically? What type of clear coat is it? Is it a hard clear coat? Is it a soft clear coat? What is your environment like? What's your mileage like? Are you in a hot desert, or are you in, you know, the
Alaska.
North Pole, Alaska? Does your, in the country that you're in, what is their salt mix like in comparison? Scandinavian countries, the way they treat the roads is different to the way the UK treat the roads, is different to the way US treat the roads. All have their various different mixes of sodium chlorides, magnesium chlorides, and whatever else they buy at quantity to suit the roads. And there's different grades, right, of those salts. And so from from our testing, you can get more than 3 months, absolutely. From some of the trusted people that have tested it, and Peter's in that camp who has tested it for us, it might be a bit less depending on the car, right? It also depends on whether you're laying this protection on top of other protective products and how well it will bond to that existing protection. Obviously, if you're using garage therapy products,
They
it's
work
going
in
to
synergy.
perform better than what it would do if you're laying it on other products. Obviously, we can't guarantee other people's products, in terms of compatibility, but it should work on anything theoretically. And another major factor that can affect durability is whether you've machine polished the surface or not. Just because the paint is clean, just because you clayed it, doesn't mean you're going to get maximum durability. Because as we know, if there's peaks and valleys and gouges and you know fissures and whatever terminology we can use to describe the mountain range that is clear coat, you're going to have different levels of coverage on there. Um, so
That's why we did
I
3 months. It was
yeah,
up to 3 months. It gives you a good guide, a good level of understanding of when you would need to reapply. Because the major concern we had a lot with a lot of people is where you find this with a lot of people using other brands is where they would use a spray and rinse every week, every time they wash the car, and it creates a build up.
mm,
And that's just a natural occurrence for any spray and rinse. You have to understand when it's going to be giving up for you to then reapply. Otherwise, one, you're wasting your money because you're using product when it's not required,
yeah,
and two, you're going to create a build up, and the build up is going to end up in all sorts of crevices and places that you don't want it to end up, and then you're going to have to use stronger chemicals to break that bond down to then remove it, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's I mean, I can relay the feedback that some of the guys, some of the other tester says, "Oh wow, I've applied this on the car, and I've actually I can see this lasting a lot longer than what I've used in the past." And these are some serious products they've used in the past from really reputable, great brands as well. So we've got high hopes for the in terms of the performance and the longevity of the product. There's a great question from Burley. He goes, should we decon before reapplication? Well, it depends on what what your protective regime is. If you've done your decon, you've applied your 3CS or your Sigma, and you've been topping that up with quick detailer, reapplying Sigma on top, and then you decide I'm going to top it up with some Zeta because it's cold, or you want to get that super slick feel to the car. You really want to layer up that protection. Then no, I wouldn't say you need to decon wash the car. However, if you're if you think, what, Sigma, CS, and Roger, you went through this, you're testing a product, it's coming to the end of its life, you can't be bothered. I say can't be bothered, you haven't got the time to start another cycle of testing. So you're like, what, I'm just going to put Zeta on the car. I'm just
Yeah.
going to put the spray and rinse on the car.
Yep.
Um, so in that scenario, Burley, no, it depends on where you are. If you want best results, obviously, having a clean surface, a decontaminated surface is best. But you can. That's ultimately down to your paint quality, as we would say,
Yeah.
and what you've used to protect it before.
You just have to
I mean, you
understand.
can. To be honest, I say this, and in the back of my head, Roger, I've got I've got
The devil on your
part of my
back.
the part of my brain saying, what, yeah, I guess you can just decon wash the car. It won't, if you've got good protection, it's not going to strip it off, just to get any excess contaminants or grease or whatever's built up on the surface off, and then apply Zeta. Then yeah, you can also do that as well.
Like you said at the beginning, it's a variable of how dirty is the car, how contaminated is the car. Do you really need to break that down before you put another level this is no different for if you were going to apply a Sigma or
Mm.
CS. You'd think, okay, let me judge this. Do I need to put this on? But the good
Yeah,
thing about the Zeta is it's very quick in comparison to Sigma and CS.
yeah,
It's very
exactly.
quick application, so it's a very in and out. All you got to just take on into note is when if you don't decontaminate it and it is visibly contaminated, then don't expect to get the full claim of at least 3 months because it will peel off
Yeah,
with any sort of contamination underneath the surface.
yeah. One thing I would say though, and why we signed this off, is just the slickness of it is just
Hmm.
phenomenal.
The self cleaning ability is quite high on that,
Yeah,
considering what it is.
it's you know it's sometimes, because we test a lot of stuff, right? And when you're testing loads of stuff, sometimes you lose your barometer of how slick something really is. Sigma is always, for us, is always like the go-to in slickness for us. But when I applied this, I was like, wow, this is super, super slick. It's almost a different type of slickness to Sigma. Um, so, we'll leave it up to when we release this, and we're hoping to release it at some point in January.
Get
We're
it
going
to
to release it in the
everybody.
UK first. We need to get it to our partners
USA
in the USA and in
and
Japan
Japan.
as well. Um, so yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Another great question, sorry, from Graham. He says, "Is it foamable? Is it foamable?" So yes, the primary method that we
Application.
recommend using this is through foam. The reason why foam lances are, I think, superior to spray and rinses, either liquid ones, is there's less chances of getting any streaks of the product drying out, right? So um, Nick asked earlier, Gilly Wash asked earlier, what is the dilution ratio? So we offer a range of dilution ratios. I'll quickly cover that. So spray and rinse format, so liquid, so in a spray bottle, let's say, um, I recommend starting at either 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. If you're topping up protection, I'll do 1 to 20. Always spray one panel at a time and rinse off. So you spray it on there, you wait 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds. If it's warm, wait a lot less. And then when you're spraying it, spray up the car so it spreads the product
Back up.
around the vehicle. Do not do what I did when I first started testing this product, right? And I called up Roger and I said, I've just fucked up my car, right? Excuse my language, sorry, right? Because the product was performing so well, I decided I'm going to go around half the car, right? Do it all in one go, and then
On
by
a
the time
dark
I got
color.
round, it was hot as well.
On a
I
dark
caused
car.
some problems. So
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do
don't
that.
do that.
Don't do that.
So we offer 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 in a spray and rinse format. It works really well. If you're foam applying it, I always say start at 1 to 10 or 1 to 9. And you don't need a lot of it. So you need about 300 mil. So if it's like 1 to 9, use 30 mil to 270 mil of water. We put the dilutions and stuff on the bottle here. It's quite comprehensive, the
As
label,
always.
as always. Um, and there's um, with that, try it 1 to 10. There's different dilutions of different performance characteristics. You can go down as 1 to 5 and you can go up to 1 to 20. Again, depending on your car, what protection you got on there, whether it's your base form of protection you want to add on or you're topping it, you're going to change your dilution. Is highly flexible in that perspective on there. So that's Zeta covered. I'll talk more about it in the future in terms of like the science stuff behind it when we
Just
release it.
before we release it, yeah.
Yeah. There's another product, Roger. There's another product.
Yeah, and I think there's a few people that just been shouting it in the middle of the the chat.
Yeah. Well done, Dan. We're
Dan,
just going to
thank you,
ban
Dan.
you from future shows. But we have, and we've been working on this for a long time. Like we've been working
Since
on
we
this for a
we
while.
did the previous edition,
Yeah.
basically.
Right. We have Snow Foam V3. We've mentioned it a few times, and every time we've mentioned it, we've always found a way to improve it or change it, or we've got feedback from people and we've gone back and looked at it, or the suppliers decided to increase the cost of an additive so far beyond the realms of reasonableness, right? That is forced our hand to like have to reformulate. So it's here. It's here. It's here. Roger, talk to me.
Well, that's the main reason why we've got like so many canisters in the unit at the moment, is because we have to decanter it. Yeah, it's an improvement on the last one, obviously. We've like the title says, It's the balance and power. It's the theory of where does a snow foam stop and decon takes over, and where does decon stop and then snow foam takes over. Obviously, they've got a different chemical background, which chemical basis. One's sugar based and one's a lot more based on harsher chemicals. But they have their different uses, but then also people have different requirements and a little bit more. I think what's the word? It's not trust. It's not trust, but it's they have a little bit more of an ease of using a snow foam over using decon, because they feel it's almost like literally firing a gun at a car when you put in decon on it, because you literally are hitting it with the hardest thing you could get chemically to break down and help you decontaminate the bodywork. Where snow foam has less so much of an issue with that, but now we're starting to get into the realms where it is getting very strong, and it is becoming almost on the toes of decon. So that's where we've kind of got to with V3 now.
Yeah. So we want to obviously push things on. We want to
Keep up with
give more
competitors.
performance, more value, more quality to our customers. We want to constantly innovate and push ourselves, and it hasn't been easy. And it's interesting, you've touched upon the power of the product, obviously, and you said you've spoken about how close it's getting to decon from one perspective. So just to allay people's misconceptions and fears, it's not as powerful as decon, but it's getting closer. But what makes decon king, and we always say that decon is king, decon is king, is because the surfactants in decon are very deep cleaning surfactants, and they really aggressively tackle dirt and smooth the paint. This won't do that same type of cleaning. So, you're going to see people, they're going to do their tests, aren't they? You're going to see reviews come out, they're going to do a test, and they're going to be, wow, look how great this Snowfoam V3 cleans, right, in comparison to V2. But rest assured, decon is king. It has a very specific purpose to really deep clean the paint and tackle contaminants. So, and the chemistry makeup, as Roger said, decon has those deep cleaning detergents, those degreasers in there to clean the paint of contaminants and break down old sealants and waxes and get that surface as clean as possible before you move on to your to whatever step you're doing, whether that is bringing it in to be machine polished or you're stripping it to add new protection on. Where we've gone, where this is improved, and Graham's asking what has changed. Well, in one way, not much. In other ways, a lot. Right. So it's still sugar based. It still has corrosion inhibitors in there. It's still super concentrated, so it's even more concentrated than V2. So that means that you're going to get greater performance at lower dilutions, right? So your maintenance dilution, so your 0.6% PIR will perform better than the V2 0.6% PIR. You're going to have better foam consistency. That's something we've really worked hard on. So Graham in the chat, he's done a lot of testing of our snow foam. Maybe out of anyone, he's done the most testing of our snow foams.
A lot of cotton pads.
Hypercritical, which we like, right? Because, it's not always about hearing the good news. You want to hear the bad as well. You want to hear the constructive criticism, not just slagging off a product. Graham's always really constructive with his criticism. And one of the things Graham didn't like with V2 versus V1, and he was a massive proponent of V1, was V1 would dwell amazingly well. It will dwell really, really well for a long time. Um, V2, where we thinned it out a little bit so we can enable that higher PIR usage, where the chemistry changed, where we moved on the power of the product, where we increased the wetting ability from V1 to V2, the foam dissipated quicker. Now, we personally like that because we don't want the foam to be lingering too long on the surface, causing potential staining damage or anything like that. That you never know with cars. Um, but with it's about evolving and striking that balance. So this will dwell longer, but it's not going to be ridiculously longer. It's maybe if V2 dwelled for 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, this would dwell for 5 6 minutes. So another minute or two longer. But what I really love about V3 is is just the sticky consistency of the foam. So it's lovely and thin, but it looks sticky. It really clings on, and it really wets out the surface. And that's one of the ways that we extracted the performance out of the product. We have removed the limonene from the product on there because the and we deem it the next generation of surfactant. So we really scoured the suppliers to find really good surfactants that could elevate the cleaning performance of the product. Now we were quite proud of V2. For us, it was almost the perfect snow foam. Obviously, we're biased because we created it, but there's always room for improvement. And with this cocktail of surfactants, so obviously the base is still sugar based, but we've added some other additives in there, other surfactants in the blend. You just get a superior cleaning performance, and it's what can you say? It cleans. It's good, isn't it? It's good,
Yeah,
Roger.
yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, like, to kind of go on the back of the limonene removal is that we knew that we were almost stepping on the toes again to another product, which is citrus. You know,
Yeah.
so we didn't want to. We wanted to try and clean up the lines a little bit better, so that people don't think, oh, well, I could use that, and what about that, and then why can't I just use that instead because that's got delimiline and it's just sugar back. So we're just cleaning the lines up, making the framework a little bit more simpler, make it a little bit more easier to understand, a bit more forgiving. Um, but yeah, I think it's Briley said actually a good point. He said we definitely need to know the demarcation point of how and when to make the move to decon or snow foam or citrus. You
Mm.
know, where is that point? Where do you change that point? I I think in that respect, I think decon is where you know where you're needing the right tool for what you're going to ultimately lay down at the end.
Mm.
If you're going to be doing something that you want to last a long period of time, whether that be a coating, whether that be CS, whether that be Sigma, and you really want to truly get its full claims of longevity, then that's when you start using Decon as a base. Decon is perfect for something when you use it every change of season because you know that you're breaking down anything that we got through that season you may have got onto the paint and it's locked onto the paint because the protection didn't get to its end of its finish, or just a coating's filled its surface up, and you need to break out all of that contamination out of the surface. When it becomes more to do with snow foam is when you want something that's got bite, but you don't want it to necessarily chew through anything that you have on the paint that you want to at least last another couple of weeks,
Mm.
because then you've got the time to then come in and do a decon. I mean, that's kind of the theory of how it should work and how it should be used. Um, Obviously, it's on a judgment of everyone's personal.
It's such a good question, isn't it? It's like, we often get asked this all the time. Oh, when do I use citrus? Why would I get the snow foam and not the citrus? Or why would I need the snow foam if I've got a citrus? And there's different ways to answer this. from my perspective, it's for detailers when they come into winter. So I mean, again, we were talking about Dan a lot. He's going to love this. He's going to get a big head. He's not. He's not going to be. He's not going to be
Fit
able
through
to walk
the
through
unit
the
door.
door. Yeah. Right. Right. He came in the other day and he was saying, "Oh, I need to buy more citrus. I'm going through it quite a lot during winter, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Like when you get really cold weather, you don't really want to be snow foaming a car because you're going to have the foam just sitting on the floor, and people are going to be talking about having a snowy mess on their driveway, right?
Not to mention it freezes on the paintwork as well sometimes
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
cold.
exactly. It depends on how cold it is. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We've seen that. And so something like a citrus, and we know that from the citrus podcast I did with Johnny, that the limonene in the colder climates is stable. It's really high performing um, um, natural solvent slash surfactant. So in the colder climates, citrus is amazing, right? So I would always say to people, if it's cold, that's when the citrus really comes into its own. Obviously, decon will do is great for any condition, any weather. So let's just park decon for the moment. But where the great thing about snow foam is when you're in the maintenance mode as well, you can use this in a pump sprayer like you can with the citrus. So you don't have to foam it on. You can just dilute it down at whatever PR you want or whatever ratio you want, right? And use it like you would a snow foam. I like doing that, if I'm honest. Like when I'm looking after the pool car, I love the fact that it's sugar-based, biodegradable surfactants, and to be fair, so is citrus. So
Yeah.
from that front, they're the same. But it's not gonna eat away at my protection that I've got in the car, like a decon would. Decon, you're not going to strip protection using decon if it's fresh and off one hit. You can take several hits, or you could to dent it even longer on some products. But if you've got a wax or you've got a sealant you're maintaining, you should be in maintenance mode, which is why this is a maintenance product. And you should be using it at maintenance dilution. So to be direct with Briley, I think that's Brandon. It's got to be Brandon, I think, I'm sure. Yeah. I I would say if to like give definitives, I would say general maintenance, always use snow foam. Winter time, if you're not going to intend on foaming the car, use the citrus. And if you just want the best of everything, just use decon. And if you've got a coating, you're not really worried about decon's not going to do anything to your coating. In fact, it's going to help maintain it because it deep cleans. So the
I
great
think if
thing
you,
about sorry, Roger,
yeah,
the great thing about what we talk about the framework, right? We moved away from system because some people have overused that term, right? And but you know, I'm only joking with that, by the way. We use the term framework because you can tailor the GT suite of products to suit your lifestyle,
preferences. Yeah.
your preferences, your business. We're going to deep dive with that with our pros come in January. But it's about tweaking the garage therapy system to your business,
I mean,
which is why.
it's a good
Yeah.
analogy towards this, I mean, it kind of takes it away from the car detailing, but some people will understand it a bit more when they're involved with construction or they've built anything from themselves. You can think of decon, citrus, and snow foam as tools, and if you put them into your tool bag, decon's a hammer. It's a freaking sledgehammer, a big hammer. If you want to take a wall down, you're going to bolster something down, you use that. You can use a mallet to hammer in a nail, but it'll either bend the nail quite quickly or knacker your wood that you just put it in. Whereabouts your snow foam is more like a screw and a screwdriver. You're using a lot more balanced, slow, methodical process, and you're not going to be damage so much around it while you're doing it. Whereabouts you can hammer a screw in It'll go in, but it'll destroy the wood. And that's the kind of the analogy you have to kind of take it upon yourself. You kind of understand, okay, there is a tool, and what do I need to use it with? And I think that's the easiest way to understand it.
Yeah, Briley, let us know if we've answered your question. If not, we can broach it a little bit in another stream, or later on we can broach it again. But there's you know we, another thing I always say as well is the labels. Read the labels. I know it's not a fashionable thing nowadays to read labels, but we we really put a lot of effort into writing our labels. We don't get ChatGPT to write the labels. We write the labels, and you know really read them, and we put, like, as Johnny would say, Easter eggs in there or nuggets in there that you can extract from that, um, and use the products in different ways. I just want to answer one thing. Yeah, there is a different color to the product. It's like an if you it's like an off blue as opposed to like a brighter blue of uh the V2 snow foam. Unfortunately, the scent is gone. So, due to the concentration, the stability of the product, we couldn't incorporate a scent in it. It doesn't smell bad, but it's not a great scent, if I'm
It's
honest.
just chemical
It's a
based as well.
chemically scent, right? But with great power comes great responsibility, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to incorporate a scent in it. But I'm sure that won't mean anything once you see the performance of the product and how well it performs. Um, so yeah, that is Snowphone V3. Hopefully, we get to launch this in January as well.
Yep.
So watch this space. We're gonna keep the price point. I can't tell you the price point for Zeta at the moment, but I can confirm the price point for Snowfoam at the moment will remain the same. So there's no price increase. Um, with the way that the UK economy is going, who knows what's going to happen in the future? But let's be optimistic
Yeah.
about that. Um, and yeah, I look forward to everyone's feedback once it's released out there. If you have V2, I'm going to be honest, you don't need to go rush off and buy V3.
No.
V2 is a fantastic snow foam. I've got V2, got shitload of V2 at home. I'm going to use up my V2, and then I'll naturally progress over to V3.
Yeah.
So it's a great product. Graham says V2 smelled bad though. In your own opinion, sunshine.
Yes. Yes.
In your own
Yes.
opinion.
I don't know if you've ever sniffed iron
It's
oxide.
yeah. Um, so if anyone's got any questions, we're reaching the hour point. I don't want us to go on too much longer because we've been babbling quite a lot. Um, if there's anyone's got any questions, please fire them away and we'll answer them whilst we're on there. It's great to see so many people in the chat talking as well. I know we not haven't been that great in terms of announcing when we're doing these
Yeah,
lives, and it's
we need to
probably
get
not
better on
as
that.
regular as we want it to be. But one of the reasons why it's not regular is unfortunately Johnny's been quite sick. Actually, we've got a super flu going around at the moment in the UK, and he's caught that. So I hope he's okay.
But we're going to continue on as we can. We're still
Yeah,
going to do one. We'll do one. I think we'll do one in the new year to just update you guys, especially with the progress of Zeta and Snowphone V3. And then also that will also probably be able to update them about the USA and Japan orders as well. At that point, we should have a good idea of where that's when
yeah,
it's
where
heading to the
that's
US and the States for you guys.
yeah.
Um, I think we're waiting for the questions to come through. I think we should touch on the other thing that's filling up the unit as well. Is we've been creating and making some merch, I think is the word for it. Merch. Maz is actually wearing one of them, which is I'm very pissed that I didn't take one from the unit. But he's got one of the t-shirts that we've created. We've taken a long time to put these together. They're quite a bit of a proud of them actually. They've come out really well. We're really keen on them.
Yeah.
We didn't want to go too over the top with all of the t-shirt designs, so we've done a very subtle design which can be used, wherever you want, where you're going
Yeah.
out or whatever. And then we've got ones that are a bit more detail inspired and a bit more on your face.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
just to say, Roger, because you actually haven't had an opportunity to wear
no,
these yet,
no,
but these are super high quality. They fit really well. That My wife saw them and she was like, "Wow, they look really." And I'm not just saying this. She had no idea what we've been working on, but she saw the t-shirt. She's like, "Wow, that looks really good. I want to buy one for her brother-in-law." Um, and that these are actually going to be a higher price point because of this is like a 3D. I can't see it because of the light, but it's like a 3D embossing,
embossed. Yeah, they're
and they look
embossed on the
really,
t-shirts.
really, really premium. You could actually go out in this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
To like a function or something, and people will think, "Oh, that's a nice t-shirt," type
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And as you said, Roger, as well, we have more detailing inspired
Mm-hmm.
t-shirts that are really good quality still, but
Yep,
slightly lower price point
yep.
as well. But they're really cool. They're really cool t-shirts. They're not cheesy t-shirts. We don't do
No,
cheesy, do
no, we
we?
don't do gimmicks. We
Yeah.
we we, we do things that we would wear quite happily.
But
And
another thing as well is you've got a lovely little
tag,
tag on them as well,
yeah,
which is
little
which is
GT
quite
tag,
nice.
nice detail to them as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And yes,
absolutely.
Dan, they do that. Dan and Peter are going on about like they're going to have man sizes and not child sizes. Yes, we have all the man sizes you've got, all the way up to triple XL.
Yeah,
So you'll be able to get into whatever you get in them. So yeah, they should be in January. They should be in the store. I think hopefully, maybe even before.
maybe even before.
Maybe before we'll see what we're waiting on the packaging for them at the moment.
Yeah,
Once the packaging come in, we can start packing them up and putting them into bags and stuff like that. So
yeah. Um, there has been some questions. Sorry, let me just quickly go through. Briley says, reason I asked is because I did a snow foam last week and it was amazing, but there's a little bit of contaminant there I can still feel after my contact wash. So I need decon. Yeah. So at that point, yeah, absolutely. Decon shampoo is the tool you would need to
get your
help
hammer out.
smooth out that paint and get rid of contaminants. What I don't recommend doing is what the which is popular in the States is doing that wash clay and seal where you're rubbing on the surface. If you've got protection on there, don't rub on the surface. You're going to inflict marring and light scratching possibly. Right, what else? What other questions on there? Will there be any more announcements in 2026? Yes, there will be more announcements in 2026.
We're gonna have to lock the door so Dan can't come in. So
Yeah. We've got new stuff coming, that's for sure. Obviously we have merch coming. We've got these two new products that we do have quite a lot of products on the way, hope coming next year. I don't want to reveal too much,
no,
but we've been working really hard last year on releasing new products and making improvements to existing ones as well, and there'll be some surprises in there as well. And Gary says, when will you be in Idaho? Possibly April, May. I think we said to Eddie, didn't we, that
yeah,
we're going to go
yeah.
to America?
As long as
So
everything goes well, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So we hope to be stateside around that period as well. Um, is it Broxy Bear? Is that what it says? All about
Yeah.
the details. Absolutely, it's all about the details. All about the details. And Todd says, "Thank you for offering 1,000 ml bottles. It greatly helps. Excited about the merch too. Please bring to the US." So yes, I've already contacted Jamie and Eddie about the merch. we'll see how many they want, but they're happy to take some of the merch over there.
We've got beanie hats new as well coming as well, and
Yes.
we'll have caps in the new year as well, because there's no point bringing the caps out until the weather kind
Yeah,
of breaks a bit.
That's a great point, Roger. Yeah, the caps, we have designed caps, but we're not going to hit the go button on those until it comes to more of a spring, summertime, right? And
no one's wearing caps in the winter. No one.
no,
Everyone's
not in
wearing
the UK,
beanies.
no.
Yeah.
Actually, there will be. You know what? There is going to be people saying, "I'll wear a cap in the
Yeah, I
winter
know,
time."
I know,
Yeah,
I know, I
I'll
know.
wear a
Yeah,
cap in the winter time. But
yeah, they live
yeah.
in Nevada.
Yeah, the guys should have had their 5 liters, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, they should have them by now.
They should have had the
Yeah.
5 liters.
They might be
should
just
be there.
getting them off the pallets maybe and putting them on the store. They might just
Yeah.
have a bit of a break.
The sizes actually, or for the snow foam is the same size. So 1 liter, 5 liters. That's what we do. So the gallons. And with Zeta, we're initially going to launch it 500 ml and 1,000 ml, and then later on we're going to release a 5 liter version of it as well for that. So look, we're 5 minutes over
The hour.
the hour mark. Really good that everyone managed to join us today. I know it was very last minute. You know what, Roger? It depends on what our schedule's like. Maybe we can squeeze another live in just to wish everyone Merry Christmas at some point. Depends on you though, right?
Yeah,
But
should be able to. Yeah,
but maybe we'll squeeze another live in before the end of the year, just to catch up on any progress that we've made, or
we can
just
actually probably
chat to people, right?
We'll chat to people, and probably could bring t-shirts on and show them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to get guests on as well. So
Yeah.
So maybe for the next one, we'll have a guest on that we can talk detailing with and give them a little bit of an interview and just discuss various topics with them and stuff like that. We have a lot of ideas of who we want to bring on and talk detailing with. And
I think
we'll
broadcast it a couple of days beforehand on Insta and on YouTube.
Certainly when we've got a guest, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll just make sure everyone knows we're getting in.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Garage Therapy Insights Live. It's not a podcast, is it? It's just a live show.
It's just a live show.
Live show. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks
everyone
for supporting us. We really appreciate you. We're not going to do all that soppy stuff. Love you guys. We love you. We don't do that stuff.
No.
But no, we really appreciate you guys, and you really do. We appreciate the interaction as well on the forum. We appreciate the questions as well. We love interacting with you, answering questions, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah,
please, tell your friends that we're doing lives now.
Yeah.
And
we'll break it. We'll broadcast it all soon. So we'll see you all soon. Have a good Christmas, people.
Have a good Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye bye.